Alright, everyone has that one thing that makes you feel safe, whether at home or in public. For me personally, it's my gun. I have a concealed carry permit. I can't bring it to school. That really bugs me. Sorry. 9 times out of 10, I'm confident that I'm confident that I'm more proficient with the weapon of my choice compared to a criminal that's willing to do a violent act on me. With that being said, I went through the proper training. I have military experience, which is just a plus, not mandatory. And I feel, since I defended the country, helped defend the country, I didn't do it myself. But I feel every American citizen that does it the proper way and is a law-abiding citizen should be able to have the right to carry a weapon with or without a permit. And today I'm going to talk about gun-free zones and concealed carry permits. When it comes to the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms, which is also a constitutional right, the only bad thing about that is the Second Amendment is outdated, but it still gives you the right to carry and the right to bear arms. It is also a reason why people fall victim is because we don't have the full right to our Second Amendment right, which is the gun-free zones, and a lot of the events recently in the world, in California specifically, as far as I know and as what I've looked up, hospitals are not gun-free zones. There was one individual that had a concealed carry, and he was able to lock his room and kind of protect people in his room in case something did happen. But if more people had the ability to carry a weapon, not as many people would have been killed at that hospital or even at some of the schools like the Sandy Hook, that college with the, sorry I forgot the name. Alright, messing up. William Jacobson, in an article, Time to Talk About Gun-Free Zones, said, gun-free zones presume the good intentions of those entering the zone, and the overwhelming majorities have such good intentions, but those who have bad intentions, gun-free zones turn schools and other locations into shooting galleries. The good people are unarmed and the bad people are armed, which leads back to, if more people had the right to carry firearms in gun-free zones, it'd be less likely for crimes to happen. And my next topic would be the concealed carry. In California, they're having a hold on all concealed carry permits. It's going through court to be appealed, and when I went through the process alone, it took me 7 months. I don't think it should take that long because in Colorado, when I had mine, it took me 45 minutes. So just by the kinds of people in whatever state, which California being kind of more liberal, no guns, and then there's Colorado where you can smoke weed and you can carry a gun. Not at the same time, but you can do it. With the permits in California, it cost me $400 at the end of it for the training, the permit, the live scan, and everything else. A lot of time, like I said, it took 7 months, and the training alone took 28 hours, and it's only a 3-year permit. I don't think I should have to pay $400, spend this much time for a right that it's in the Constitution. Yeah, I can see the issue with carrying the weapon, but in Texas alone, there are 14 times less, citizens in Texas that have the right to carry a firearm concealed, they're 14 times less likely to commit a crime. And they are also 5 times less likely to commit a violent crime with or without a firearm. And those statistics are as of July 2015. To recap what I went over, the gun-free zones and its issues is that you're kind of a sitting duck. If someone wants to shoot you, it's going to happen. But if you have the ability to protect yourself, you are able to protect yourself and others. With concealed carry, you do not have to protect others, but that's up to you what kind of person you are. Me personally, I'm not just gonna sit there while someone else is getting shot at. I'm gonna do what I can to save as many people as I can. That's why I have my concealed carry. Sorry, it's not for everyone, it's really for me and my family, but I'm not gonna put myself or my family in that situation to be a victim. That's why I put in the time and the money, because I feel my safety and my life and my family's life is worth it. And with that, I hope that you understand the importance and the seriousness of being able to protect yourself, not only for gun crimes, but if someone attacks you with a knife or anything else. That's all I have, sorry.
All right, Danilo, what did you think?
I found the topic very serious, and it actually captured my attention, especially when you added a little bit of humor at the introduction. I noticed that you were a little nervous because you were a little unprepared. I noticed your hands were shaking a lot, but you try to keep that to yourself and not to show that by walking a lot or shaking your body, just your hands. I could actually understand the points that you were saying and everything, and it made me think about my security as well, especially at the end when you mentioned the metaphor about the dog being a protector and just being a target. Then at the end, you kind of messed up saying that that's all you got. I mean, you were doing okay. You should have provided a little bit more research or maybe more examples, but then you were doing okay, but because of what you said at the end, I made me actually think, oh, he's not that prepared for what he was saying then. Yeah. That's all I got.
All right. And that's the way it is. Okay. Yeah, I think you can tell it's a little underprepared.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, the attention device needs to be a little bit more thoughtful. As it is, it just feels kind of awkward, and it needs some creativity. I know what your subject is, and you start off talking about the Second Amendment, and one of the first things you do at the beginning is talk about, well, it's not really a good justification because it's outdated. I'm going, well, wait a second. Is this something that you're going to say, yes, we have a right, and so on and so forth? Or is it something that's going to say, well, there have to be some limitations, and later on it makes it sound like you, Gesundheit, don't really think that there ought to be any limitations, so why are you arguing that inconsistency at the beginning? And that's just kind of the start of it. There is always a place where you're going that it doesn't feel like you've quite thought through where you're going, and you've got an objective. I can tell you've got the objective. It's just a question of how you're going to get there. And I got gun-free zones, I got the concealed carry permit, and it feels like there are at least one or two other points that are missing from the speech. You start telling a story about some guy in a hospital with a gun, and I'm going, what the hell are you talking about? So, I don't think hospitals are gun-free zones, and a guy in the hospital, I couldn't tell if he was taking hostages or if he was protecting people from an assault that was going on in a hospital. Like, there's no context. And I know that the example is something that is supposed to support a point that you're making, but it's not very clear. And that's just one of those things, like it's undercooked. You got the ingredients and you haven't got them put together very well yet, and as a consequence, it's not developing the way it should. I do think that you get a little bit of credit for your personal passion on this. and you're telling us, I mean, you get some credibility. My understanding is it's virtually impossible as a resident of California to get a concealed carry permit. Congratulations to you. You may be one of 12 in the state. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but that seems to suggest that you're pretty resilient and pretty committed to your position. It should be relatively easy to show why people need to have this. There are dangers out there. There are problems that come up. That these dangers can be effectively met if people are adequately prepared and allowed to exercise their rights. But we're not doing those kinds of things. We've gone the wrong direction trying to fix this problem. We've made it harder for people to defend themselves, and as a consequence, I think that we're making a big mistake. I mean, that's the essence of your argument, and it needs to flow a little bit more smoothly like that. And I think you know most of the things that I'm talking about. I'm not sharing anything with you that you're not aware of. When you watch back, you'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.